So yeah, remember when Konami dropped the Yu-Gi-Oh! Early Days collection with some of our favorite Yu-Gi-Oh! Childhood games? Along with some games we never got in the States and being translated? Although it didn't have the fanfare we were hoping, it's still a nice little collection to have for the longtime fans of the game to relive some of the past moments, before financial responsibility became the very dread we worry on. Anyway, I've been really wanting to play some of the games we've never gotten in the States since I played the other games a few times over, such as the first Game Boy Color game that we got being Yu-Gi-Oh! Dark Duel Stories. I've also played Eternal Duelist Soul and Worldwide Stairway Edition being released in October 2002 and April 2003 respectively, and of course, Yu-Gi-Oh! The Sacred Cards and Yu-Gi-Oh! Reshift of Destruction, which I've covered both on my TCG channel with the full playthrough of both and a review on Reshift you can check out here. However, one of the main ones that stood out to me was the very first Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Monsters game, released in 1998 in Japan, and 2025 for the United States in the Early Days collection. So let's talk about it. Though fair warning, this review will be shorter due to the normal limitations of the game. Now, when I do these reviews, especially on retro games, I try not to compare the game to today's standards since I feel that'd be very unbalanced since the tech wasn't there. Plus, gaming has come a long way in complicity. Plus, with this actually being one of the very first games, which was more or less based on the original anime that didn't focus on the card game too much, it certainly had shoes to fill to try to make a fully fleshed out card game. Let's start with the rules. Mainly what's different from this to modern Yu-Gi-Oh! Your deck cannot exceed or go below 40 cards. There is no extra deck. However, Fusion is still a feature to the game. To use Fusion, all you have to do is slap a monster on top of another one, and if it's compatible, it will fusion into something more powerful. For example, a fire monster along with a warrior can result in a flame swordsman. Aside from the fusion / extra deck not being a part of the game, another huge aspect is not here is trap cards. The only type of cards that exist in this game are normal monsters with no effects and spell cards. And the spell cards are limited as well, either being usually equip cards, field spell, or normal magic cards, which all function the same way for those who played Yu-Gi-Oh! Before. In addition to the changes in card type, you can only play one card from your hand at a time, which honestly kind of bites. If your opponent drops something powerful, only for you to draw into Regeki, sure, you can remove the monsters, however it will leave you open for a wide attack assuming you have no monsters on the field. So when you're ready to play your cards, you want to be mindful that once you make your move, you have to commit it till the end of your next turn. Lastly, another feature I really dislike in this game is that all of your monsters have to take some form of action. To best explain this, say you have a monster that you want to remain in attack mode. You have to choose to attack something. Even if it's a monster that matches your attack and will destroy itself. Or attack a defense position monster, even if the defense position exceeds your attack. This puts you in a weird position where you have to make a choice on risking putting your monster in defense mode, only for your opponent to destroy it, or attack a defense monster knowing or unexpectedly take some minor damage. Though this is a double-edged sword because the opponent has to follow these rules as well, so you can sometimes play this to your advantage when you're going up against the game's AI. Yes! Yes! That means he's gonna put Twin-Headed King Rex in defense position or whatever the hell it's called. Yes! Thank God. Alright, we gaming. We gaming. We can now do the loop-de-loop. Like, check this shit out. Goodbye. Oh, I know it was shitting the fact I hate how this game you're forced to make an action command, but now I kind of like it because now it benefits me. And finally, monster levels really aren't a thing. You can summon any monster without having to tribute summon. So literally cramming high attack monsters is the way to go for quite a bit in the game. All of this creates a very straightforward caveman style of Yu-Gi-Oh! Where power dominates the battlefield. Which I guess is fine to an extent, but it kind of removes some of the fun of Yu-Gi-Oh! With having to play around certain effects or challenges versus some big ass monsters like the Blue Eyes White Dragon. Sure, down the road when you get close to the late game, you may need to invest more into equip cards and field spells along the way with deck uniformity. I mainly relied on warriors and support cards for them in order to overpower my opponents during my playthrough towards the later half of the game. But for quite a bit, you can literally just farm big monsters. Personally, I got a lot of value from Joey Wheeler. so I'd recommend dueling him for some decent drops and easy wins. And of course, the first person to drop down to 0 life points or run out of cards to play loses the game. With the gameplay of Yu-Gi-Oh laid out, let's talk about the story. Oh yeah, there really isn't one. I mean, I even read the manual. I mean, sure, it loosely follows the event from start to the anime to beating Pegasus, but nah, not really. You basically get a round of duelists you have to beat all 5 of them, and then you lock new ones who are more well-known in the Duelist Kingdom era, such as Rex Raptor, Weevil Underwood, Panic. The fuck is with that picture? Okay, moving along. Yeah, we also have Kaiba, Mokuba, who wasn't kidnapped in this episode apparently, Mako Tsunami, and Puppeteer? Did I miss a page? After defeating all the Duelist Kingdom duelists, you unlock Shaimon from the past. Or some shit, they really don't explain his presence being here. And finally, beating him 5 times nets you the chance to duel Maximilian Pegasus. And after 5 wins, you hit the credits, Yugi boy. Oh, and after the credits, you unlock Yami Yugi. Beat him 5 times, and guess what? Yeah, that's it. Nothing else actually happens. With this being a classic Yu-Gi-Oh game, every time you beat someone, you do get a card. Sometimes the card is trash, and other times it might be a viable option to slot in your deck to build something vastly stronger than what you started with. Every player drops something differently, so it's good to take notes of some of the cards they do drop, or if you're like me, you can access this list of all the drops from everyone. Big shout out to this person that's made this list so much easier to build my deck. Also, an interesting fact, every 10th win from someone, you get a special card drop that is fixed. For example, after you beat Joey 100 times, you get the Red Eyes Black Dragon. Now, no one actually would just sit there and beat him that many times, right? Right? Well, I did. Me. I did it. Granted, I did stream about half of this, and I got to the point where I could literally just spam A while playing Duel Links and this at the same time, and each win will only take about 1 minute and 20 seconds. So it wasn't too bad. And actually, yes, I did time myself, so I can kind of get a breakdown of how long it would actually take me to do this. Another fun fact that is kind of nice with this game, even though a lot of it is just button mashing A when you're trying to grind for cards, once you finish making your turn for a certain card, it actually moves over to the next available card to make its move, which kind of helps save you some time and mental energy when you're endlessly grinding for drops. When it comes down to it, this is a pretty solid foundation for what is to come in future releases. However, it really doesn't evoke the amount of depth and strategy due to lack of effects, just mainly big attack equals big wins. I did enjoy my time with this game for the most part. It had like a chilled calming effect, kind of like Shining Hunting in the Pokemon series. But still, feels like you're working towards something to strengthen your deck, and getting that promised rare drop is rewarding. I think this game might be better to either just slowly chip away at it due to the repetitive nature of it, or possibly streaming it since you have others help keep you engaged for when the game becomes literally autopilot farming. I should also mention all these games in the early day collection have enhancements, which is basically a polite way of saying cheating, so you can literally give yourself every card in the game at multiple copies, which of course easily streamlines building the deck into something insanely OP, but removes a reward aspect knowing you started from nothing only to become the king of games. But if you use it, go for it. I won't tell. Just have fun. The game also has a built-in rewind feature that can revert you the game up to 60 seconds, which can help make those silly mistakes by pressing the wrong button, and can help allow players to learn the game to undo their mistakes if they feel they need to. However, experience is always the best teacher. Overall, Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Monsters 1998 does a good job at trying to create a game for the first time from a manga that wasn't really focused to begin with. However, due to the game being strictly focusing on power over combos and effects, it kinda misses the mark on having a lot of brain power behind some of the plays you'll be making. Thankfully, the animations and the speeds of duels are pretty fast, and yet at a comfortable pace to not dwell too much time on farming. However, there are some less desired traits that cause it to be more restricted than it needs to be. I do look forward to playing in the sequel and looking back to see how much they improved from the first entry. Thank you for watching, everyone. Be sure to subscribe and for the follow-up episode and on the game release after this one to see how much it's improved. Or not. Comment down below what games you've been checking out in the early days collection and drop a like. I would greatly appreciate it. Until next time.